I met someone a few months ago that was working on this really important problem, which was sometimes when there are natural disasters that strike a particular region of the world, it's a complex coordination challenge because you need to bring together so many teams on the ground in a particular physical location, and it needs to happen extremely quickly. And there's a certain set of roles that need to be filled. It's not like, you can just do away with hospital systems. That was something that we were talking about. I think it's an incredibly inspiring problem in and of itself, and that is something that I fully hope that we'd be able to build systems that ultimately will present this opportunity for people to get involved. They may not have even known that that sort of opportunity exists, and be able to join on the ground, and be the front line of defense for some of these really important, short-term, really critical coordination challenges that need people as soon as possible. My name is Pooja Shah, and I'm the founder of Tephra Labs. The main problem that Tephra Labs is interested in solving is recognizing that the world needs better coordination structures that do a better job aligning incentives to important problems that need to be addressed. There are already many coordination structures that exist in the world that bring humans together to work together and solve important challenges. There are all sorts of organizations, nonprofit organizations, corporations, et cetera. There are governments and nation states, broadly speaking. There are also intergovernmental organizations like the UN that collaborate across these different groups. But we think that these groups don't really move the needle enough when it comes to some of the biggest problems that are facing society. And we took a look at market-based solutions that exist in the world, especially taking a lot of learnings from Web3 and the crypto space more generally, and seeing how markets can be used to mobilize people to work really effectively together and to do things that you maybe never would have predicted. So what we're interested in solving at Tephra Labs is bringing people together using market-based mechanisms to coordinate them to work on some of these really impactful problem areas. We're really hoping to be able to do this with everything from coordinating people on the ground to address disaster response situations, to helping people find climate change opportunities, to helping people find teams that they want to work with as they're getting started building their new business. As we look forward and realize that we need to coordinate billions of people to solve problems like climate change potentially, a lot of the people that are going to want to work together may not work for a company as a full-time employee. They may just be passionate individuals who want to work on something that is really meaningful and inspiring to them. And so we really believe that as we look forward, many more people in the world than ever before will be independent workers, like contractors, freelancers, and people who run their own businesses and work with people that they really just enjoy working with. And today, we think it's much harder to be an independent worker than it should be. So the other piece of what we're trying to solve is building infrastructure for the independent work economy so that independent workers can have first-class alternatives to full-time employment. So something I've always been really passionate about is education, and it's something I've cared about pretty much my entire life. Growing up, I noticed so often how there were people who just took really different approaches to life, and even in my own family, my siblings were so different from me. I was the studious nerd, and my siblings who were really charismatic and really outgoing and just incredible human beings were treated so differently when it came to showing up to class and how their teachers perceived them, and therefore how family, friends, and parents and so on perceive them. And I saw that how that sort of continued throughout the rest of our lives and the opportunities that we had access to and what we all thought that we were capable of and where we would fit in the future. There are a lot of people who talk about education and some of the ways in which our systems are deficient. A lot of people talk about how we're sort of in the factory model of education today, and everyone's kind of expected to conform to one set of beliefs of what's the right way to show up and contribute to the world and be productive in society. And I just don't think that that is the right way for us to train young people. I think that people are so capable. One of my personal mission statements is that I believe individuals are so powerful and really can do anything that they set their minds to. But there are so many obstacles in the way that our world works today. And it could include things like mental health, socioeconomic status, but also the messages that people receive throughout their lives and the opportunities that they feel like they have access to. I used to work at Tephra Labs for many years. And last year, as a leadership team, we started thinking about what it would take to go from this world of being a single monolithic company to a network of companies. That was something that I, in my role as the head of product at Protocol Labs, had directly experienced working. We were trying to figure out how do we have these like massive roadmaps for the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystems. There are lots of things that we want these networks to be able to accomplish, and we have a limited set of people within Protocol Labs who are actually going to be able to do all of these things. So something that I had personally experienced was working with many different groups within the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystems, giving them grants to work on really important layers of product and tooling that were crucial for the IPFS and Filecoin ecosystems, and then supporting them as they were building these invaluable products so that the entire ecosystem would grow. And the really amazing thing was in the process too, it was not only valuable for the ecosystem, but I saw how people's careers were totally changed. Like folks who were, just getting started in the Web3 space for the first time, started out with a small grant project and really did a great job. They met people within the IPFS and Filecoin communities, and that led to the next opportunity, and some of these individuals became teams of like 10 friends that are now working together as these venture-backed companies to build new products that they're really excited about. That initial question, which was like, how do we coordinate a decentralized ecosystem of groups that don't all now report into the same structure, they don't all have the same CEO that ultimately they're all accountable to, but they all care about something. There's like a thread that unites them. So there's this initial question of how do we coordinate a decentralized ecosystem, and that for me, thinking about possible solutions and answers to that question connected to some of the things I've always cared about, like how do we give people access to opportunities that they may not have otherwise had. I thought about how, people that I knew could benefit from these types of opportunities too. Maybe they wouldn't be the sort of people who could be hired into Protocol Labs for whatever reason, but they could totally get a grant to build something really important and have that just be the seed for the rest of their career. So I thought there was something really interesting to explore, and started thinking about how that could apply to other spaces as well, not just Web3 ecosystems, but thinking about some of the coordination challenges we face as a society for important problems like climate change. And it all just kind of meshed together and felt like, there was a lot to explore in building important solutions in this space. My advice to someone who's thinking about maybe starting a company is that there is lots of advice for how to start a company out there in the world. And a lot of people think there's really one way to do it because maybe they did it a very particular way. And what I would say is every person is so unique in this world. And if you believe that there's something that needs to be addressed, you should just go for it. And it doesn't really matter that, you don't need to check all of these like very specific boxes that the internet may tell you need to check in order to succeed. If you believe that something is valuable, I think honestly, anyone should just like go for what they think is important. And I think the only thing that founders really need, in my opinion, is enough optimism about what they're doing to be able to persist, because things take way longer than you think they will, pretty much across the board. I experienced this when I was at Protocol Labs, and I'm experiencing it now with my new company, but it's so rewarding and so worth it. And as long as you don't give up, something amazing will come from it, even if it's just like learnings or just like an incredible opportunity to build a team of people that you really enjoy working with, but it'll be worth it. So I would say people should just go for it. And this was New Year's, I think 5 years ago or something like that. Define for myself what I thought my purpose for being here was and on this earth. And I think for me, it's really just knowing myself, being able to help others, and as much as possible, setting an example for others, being able to show that, whatever I've done is possible for people who look like me. And so I think that's something that even, we'll see what happens with Tephra Labs. I think honestly, the journey is worth it, and, the destination will be whatever it is. But I think for me, this journey of being a founder has allowed me to honestly do all of those things. It's allowed me to learn so much about who I am and what I care about and what makes me feel like most alive and aligned with living my purpose. It has allowed me in some small way to, we've already on a very small scale, but been able to support people in gaining access to opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise had, which has been so incredibly rewarding. And it's not really about legacy or anything, but just there aren't that many people in the world who look like me, who are on this type of journey. And I want to show that it can be done. And I want to be someone who can help others as they start on this journey as well.